Hey guys, Scripted here with another video, and just when you thought that maybe, just maybe, Luke Skywalker had some sort of special connection to the Force or something, and that's how he knew about Ahch-To, or he heard about it from somebody, or it was knowledge that he gained from the Jedi texts, maybe, or a visit from a Force ghost told him, or something of that nature. It turns out that the reason he was able to find Ahch-To was another MacGuffin. Official tie-ins confirm that Luke used something called a star compass, a device similar to the Sith Wayfinder seen in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This had apparently been found by Palpatine and stored in one of his hidden observatories until it was retrieved by Luke. It took Luke decades to unravel the secrets of the star compass, but he eventually succeeded, abandoning the galaxy and traveling to Ahch-To after his failure with Ben Solo. But now, 8 years after The Last Jedi, Star Wars has finally explained the origin of the star compass. Okay, but how would he even know where to go to get the star compass to begin with? Like, it gets a little convoluted, man. So he was just going around all the different hidden observatories of Palpatine's? How did he know where to go to find those? Like, how did he get that information? I don't understand. Let me know in the comment section, like, how would he know where the hidden observatories are, right? Like, the Death Star blew up. They blew up all their ships at the Battle of Jakku in Disney Star Wars. And there wasn't really a whole lot around to gain information at that point, other than maybe Exegol. So how did he know where to go, right? So it just adds more convoluted. The whole Ahch-To thing just creates so many problems in so many ways. It's like, it's so stupid. Like, I don't know. I would think that the first ever Jedi temple would be something Jedi would know about, right? And it would have been something that even Luke probably would have found out about from Obi-Wan or somebody. Maybe you don't have to put it on the screen. Maybe you could justify it by saying, okay, it's not in the OT. However, we do have time in between the movies. We do have, some years between the movies. We could reasonably accept that he found out this information from somebody like Obi-Wan. But no, we got to make some MacGuffin that I'm sure they'll make a toy out of. Star compasses were used by ancient Jedi explorers, which combined their basic hyperspace maps with Force navigation techniques that allowed them to travel the stars and find planets rich in the Force. Now, that's another thing that's kind of, like, wouldn't you think that, like, if you're super in tune with the Force, like, if Luke is so in tune with the Force that he can holo project himself from Ahch-To to Crate, does that mean he had been to Crate before? It's like literally like over halfway across the galaxy. And he does that, but he wouldn't be Force sensitive enough to feel the planet's Force pull. He wouldn't be capable of doing that. See what I'm saying? It's just another MacGuffin that diminishes potential good storylines they could have done, even though they're already working, they're working to explain something that's pretty terrible, but at least then you could say, okay, like, that's kind of cool that Luke knows how to do that. He's a master and da-da-da. No, it's the star compass. Luke has theorized that the star compass and the Sith equivalent wayfinders are actually primitive holocron technology containing vast data stories in such a small device. Prototype star compasses are seen in Star Wars The Bad Batch, where Clone Force 99 discovers one that apparently predated the Jedi Order itself, so the Jedi seem to have repurposed a technology that existed 25,000 years ago. It's just devices and stuff. It's I talked about this the other day too. It's like it's always like things. It can never just be the spiritual side of it. Since Disney's taken over, it can't just be the Force and the spiritual side of it and Luke sensing things. It has to be this device. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventure Season 3 is just released, and it reveals the origin of Luke's star compass. This device was originally used by a ship called the Twilight Explorer, which traveled the galaxy seeking out planets rich in the Force. It's like Star Trek. They're going on missions to find these planets. And the whole, like, rich in the Force thing, the planet itself, is a little bit, I mean, I don't mind it to some degree. Like, I get that, like, there's the cave in Empire and stuff like that, but this whole, like, they're all over the place and we got to seek them out. And, it was an interesting thing in the sense that it was part of Luke's training and part of Yoda trying to show him the problems that he had inside and trying to get him to be less reactionary and the whole Vader thing and turning to the dark side. And then you get into like, we're seeking out forced planets so we can gain some kind of an advantage or whatever. It just, I don't know, it's too much. It's way too much. According to episode 3, Journey to the Bottom of Naboo, the Twilight Explorer crashed on the oceanic planet Naboo long ago. It was lost in Naboo's ocean trenches, only discovered during the High Republic era, and the Jedi successfully retrieved the Star Compass. We have a full timeline of the Star Compass. Jedi must have studied it for centuries, never quite unlocking all its secrets. With Palpatine taking possession of it after Order 66 and the sacking of the Jedi Temple, we already know he stole countless Jedi treasures during the Purge. But Palpatine would never have been able to use the Star Compass because this device requires the power of the light side. So you're using the Force to make a star map work? Okay. He had presumably taken it just as a way of feeling superior to the Jedi, only for Luke to eventually find it on Palpatine's hidden base on Pilio. Okay, so they kind of did that in Ahsoka, right? With that map orb thing that, like, it looked like Morgan kind of used whatever her force powers and magic things to make work. Young Jedi Adventures actually shows us how the Star Compass works. When activated, it generates a holographic image representing its last journey, adjusting itself for galactic drift. Attentive viewers will notice that the Jedi Compass works in a strikingly similar way to the ancient star map seen in Ahsoka. Oh, there you go, which makes sense. The star map originated from a vast intergalactic empire that predated the Republic, so may well have been the original source of its technology. The other thing, too, is like if somebody's been to Ahch-To, right, if people have gone there, first of all, it should just be known that that's where the first Jedi Temple is. You don't just forget about that. Like, that would be something you would discuss, you would talk about. It would be a topic of conversation. I would think especially at the Jedi Temple, right? So, like, anyone who grew up there that's still alive, because there's so many of them still alive after Jedi, you'd think they would know where these places are. It would have been something they would have learned. Something that Ahsoka herself should have learned, right? You would learn the history of the organization you are a part of, wouldn't you? Why would this, like, fade into the abyss unless you find this MacGuffin to be able to go there? See, the whole thing is weird. And then, of course, Luke leaves the way to get there in BB-8 or R2, I guess, when they combine their maps, and yet he wanted to go there to die and he didn't want anyone to find it, but he still did that. If this is correct, it's possible to figure out the entire history of this tech. We know the original Wayfinders were one of the oldest dark side technology, and according to 2024 edition of the Star Wars Encyclopedia, these were based on the Purgles. Okay, the whole, like, Wayfinder thing, too, and I did a video about this a while ago, about Exegol, and how, like, the idea that nobody would know where it is and you need this special MacGuffin to be able to find it when there's millions of people that live there. That's their canon, is there's millions, and they built all these ships. They would have had to have been transporting resources in and out. The planet is totally desolate, so there's no farming, there's no nothing. You would have to have people bringing stuff in. There would have been a lot of people that would know where it was. Oh, but the Wayfinder. Like, really? Like, millions of people. So the First Order is, like, huge, and they have resources all over the place, and they had no clue where Exegol was when there's literally millions of people there and people transporting stuff in and out, shipbuilding materials, food. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So all that to say, like, you could have, if you're gonna have a MacGuffin, that sucks to me, but at least do it well to where it makes sense. So it's not like, oh, well, what was the point of that? That doesn't even add up. That should have been knowledge. So the Jedi should have known about Ahch-To 100%. It's part of their history, part of their lore. And the First Order should have 100% knew about Exegol. Because, again, there was people going in and out of there all the time. So eventually somebody's going to get intercepted, or a signal's going to get intercepted, or something is going to happen. It would therefore be logical to tie the earliest Wayfinders to this intergalactic empire who literally rode the space whales across the intergalactic void. The space whales. Oh, man. The Jedi must have reverse engineered the technology to create their own star compasses with the Sith, and then returning to the original templates. This also explains why the Jedi never managed to find Ahch-To. Ahsoka's star map showed a route between the two given destinations and only made sense when you were at one end of the journey. The Jedi would need to recreate every route the Twilight Explorer had taken, and presumably that's what Luke eventually did, finding his way to Ahch-To at last. And again, this speaks to another thing too. It's like, it's just MacGuffin fest. They don't make sense. There's tons of problems with it. It just creates more questions than answers. And then, I don't know. I don't think this is Luke's character. I don't think Luke spends decades just going around looking for artifacts and stuff. Luke is a personal character. Leia is getting attacked, according to their dumb canon, in the Senate because they find out her grandfather was Vader. So essentially, like, the Resistance is like her separate thing from the New Republic, by the way. That's what they wrote. So, because she was ostracized because her dad was Darth Vader, which, first of all, is stupid. Like, that doesn't make any difference. That shouldn't make any difference. It's Leia Organa. She's a hero. You wouldn't just turn your back on her because her dad was a crazy person. It had nothing to do with her. She fought against him. So right there, that doesn't make any sense. But then while that's going on, Luke is just leaving her. He's off, gallivanting around for MacGuffins and stuff and artifacts and stuff. Like, really? That's what you had him doing for like all those years when he should have been like involved with what was going on and helping out and doing things. I mean, and his sister knows that there's this bad group, the First Order. It's just, oh man. And then, like, how much of his time was he doing that when he should have been at his academy? I mean, the idea that you could just go around, okay, so he's at the academy, and then what? He tells him he's leaving for a couple of days or something, but then he knows exactly where to go to these hidden Imperial bases to find this stuff? Because if he didn't, and he's just floating around the galaxy for weeks and months and years on end, and then eventually finding them, then what's going on at his academy without him there? So if he wasn't doing that, and it was these quick little trips, and he was still coming back to teach his students, then he would know where those are, and then knowing where those bases are doesn't make any sense. Like, this is all just stupid things they're trying to explain because they took the spirituality totally out of Star Wars. There's nothing about it anymore. It's just, things are the way that they are. Rey is the way that she is. Everything is the way that it is. There's no build-up. There's no inner growth. Even Luke now, right? It's just a MacGuffin fest. He didn't sense Force planets. He just had to have this thing to be able to find them. It's always things. I don't know why these writers are so obsessed with that. I guess they just don't understand spirituality and maybe they're just trying to take away from that, right? Because that just has too much of a correlation to maybe religious organizations in the real world, and we don't want that. It's got to all be about the man-made stuff and all this stuff, and it's just like, and then they placate by saying you have to use the light side to be able to open the map. It's like, nice, So you made it a MacGuffin, but then you tried to sort of shoehorn in this spiritual side of it, even though it's totally related to where this other ship went. So you see what I'm saying? It's just it's so lowbrow and just, it takes away completely. They just keep making Luke's character crappier. That's the bottom line. It just gets worse. He's not as cool as we thought he was, at least in Disney Star Wars. He's not super in tune with the Force. He requires all these other stupid things. Oh, but buy the toy or whatever. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please subscribe. It always helps the channel. Feel free to check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.